So Don asked a very good question. He said, how can you increase your probability of predicting direction? So what I suggest doing, Don, is give yourself 2 seconds to determine the direction of the trend. That's all it should take, 2 seconds. If you don't know the direction of the trend in 2 seconds, it's usually either going sideways or you just simply shouldn't trade it. So in the case of Apple, this was back in late October, early November. What was the direction of Apple? Don? So if we're going back to October, late October, Don says looks up. That is correct. That's the trend. The direction of finding a trade should be the easiest formula in your arsenal. Pull it up, look at what it's doing, give yourself 2 seconds, and if you can't answer the question, then move on. That is the way to have a higher probability trade, is to be able to pull up a chart and immediately know the direction. Let's go look at BABA right now, present day. What is the direction of the trend of BABA, Don? Right now. Direction on BABA, what is it? Anyone else wants to answer this question? You're more than welcome to. Don says down. You were incorrect, my friend. You're incorrect. Because you're looking at this piece right here. That's all your eyes are seeing. You got to look to the left, my man. You got to give yourself some time. Look to the left. Right? So the trend is up. Which means what? Well, if the trend is up, find places to buy as low as you can. That's it. That's usually the most helpful piece of all of it, right? If you look at the daily chart, if you look at the weekly chart, it's even more apparent. So the weekly chart, trend is also up. So you want to buy it as low as you can. If you find the stock that is trending higher, you want to buy as low as you possibly can. So what I would say, Don, is if you struggle with it, just have someone help you who's been doing it for a while. It doesn't have to be me. It can be anyone that you want. But I have been trading for 11 years now. And I do like to think I'm relatively pretty good at finding the longer term direction and the trend of most stocks. At Real Life Trading, I've had the company open since 2014. We've been bullish on the market ever since 2014. So I've been bullish on almost any big picture, long name, big stock since 2014. I know a lot of people try to call bottoms and they get really fancy with it. So Facebook, all throughout here, we were bullish, looking for dip opportunities to get in, looking for candles, looking for information. We've been bullish on Facebook since 2014. Don says, how far do you usually go back to determine the trend? I would say, why put a number on it? Go back as far as you want. Put as much time on the chart as you want to give yourself an answer. So I would say the answer to that question is forever. Go back as far as you want. Give yourself as much time as you can on the screen. Look at a weekly chart or a monthly chart because it will help you determine the direction. For example, Don, what's the direction of Facebook? This is all the data that Facebook provides. It IPO'd back in 2012. What is the direction? Direction is bullish. Therefore, it's going up. Therefore, you're looking at buying it as low as possible and holding it as high as possible. So again, you should be able to determine the long-term trend of a stock in seconds. Axel says, Jeremy, what are your thoughts on using the volume price graph? I'm sure it works exceedingly well, Axel. I just don't have any experience using it. Hope that answers your question. All right, over to INO. So unfortunately, what we're going to have to do at this exact moment in time, my friends, is we're going to have to cancel the trade. So on this particular trade on INO, the high of this candle was 531. And then we got a little bit of a rollover. So 531 was the high of this candle, and then we got some bearish follow through. So all I can say is I did my best. So go ahead and cancel the INO trade, which means we're only going to have one setup open, one trade open on Lake. I'm going to come in here in Slack, make sure everyone knows that we're canceling it. Cancel the INO day trade. Let me add an E to this so that everyone who wants to get that text message alert service can do that. Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat pane, cancel the INO day trade. Jim says, when are you still considering a fade? Longer term, yes. Yeah, for the day trade, Jim, we have canceled our particular order, and I'm trying to look for something else. So longer term, absolutely, when's going to be a good buying spot down here. For a day trade, I've canceled my order, and it seems that it's just going to slowly kind of pitter-patter lower. Don says, how back do you usually put your stop loss? Good question, Don. Just really depends. Fortunately, is the answer to the question. Depends on a lot of answers, a lot of questions. Depends on your time frame. Depends on how bullish you are on the company. Depends on how much you like the company. Depends on how often you use the company. Depends on your investment size with the company. That can depend on a lot of different factors. My thought process is to use protective puts rather than stop losses if you are in a long-term position that you like a lot. So if you're a long-term company that you're very bullish on, use protective puts rather than stop losses. Usually helps keep you in a trade a little bit longer. Robert Falco says the market is looking a bit weak. It is. It is looking a bit weak. It keeps retesting and keeps failing. So we have some weakness. And again, I'm kind of hoping that Lake can hold up against the market's weakness. So far it is. Again, we have moved our stop loss. I don't really want to lose on the trade, but I also don't want to be too impatient because we are making higher lows. Yes, we're making relative highs. And I'm just thinking to myself, how long do we need to hold this trade for maybe it to break out, hit our target, and then be profitable on the day? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying my best to be as patient as I can on LAKE. And you'll notice I've only moved the stop one time so far. All right, so much goodness to look at.